Good morning. The African dream rests on shoulders of its young people. As we meet today in this magnificent event of One Young World, Africa is meeting under the auspices of the AU to discuss silencing the guns by 2020. One of those who are sure to make this dream happen is our next delegate, the talented Nina Forgwe from Cameroon. At the young age of 26, Nina is a lawyer with a master's in governance and regional integration. She works as a peace advocate. She is a true testimony to the fact that you're never too young to lead, and that true leaders lead first, then the title follows their leadership. She has been working as a peace advocate in partnership with a number of youth-led organizations and the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Civic Education in Cameroon, training young people in particular to sensitize the public on countering violent extremism and effective peace and security strategies. This is part of the African dream. This is part of silencing the guns in Africa. Through her leadership, she has trained over 1,500 young people from 10 regions in Cameroon. Just think about how many more people would be reached through this movement. We know that extremists target young people, and we've just heard that many of them are young themselves. And hence, she has decided to target young people. Young people are generally always inspirational, but we normally believe that wisdom is for the old, and young people bring courage. She brings both wisdom and courage. One of the things she has said is, I am passionate about the topic of the speech because I believe young people represent the promise and not the peril. I am a young person, she says, and if I want to be that key while promoting peace and security and contributing to sustainable solutions, must begin with me. She then ends, I must be part of the solution I want to see. Let's listen to the talented leader from the African continent. I am proud to make an acquaintance, Nina Forgwe.
Thank you very much, Mom Tuli, for the amazing introduction. Cameroon, like Canada, is a bilingual nation. We have 2 Anglophone and 8 Francophone regions. Born in the English-speaking part of the country, I grew up in a model of harmony in diversity, cultural and religious diversity. My Muslim friends played with my Christmas gifts, and I eagerly anticipated the Muslim Feast of Tabaski, and together, we participated in traditional African rituals. I can assure you that violence was limited to pickpocketing, the occasional robbery, or anti-government strike. Then, suddenly, in 2014, 10 Chinese workers were kidnapped from the north of Cameroon by the terrorist organization Boko Haram. From then on, the violence spread. In 2 short years, Boko Haram killed at least 1,400 people, 100 civilians. Boko Haram killed at least 1,400 civilians, 120 soldiers, and abducted an estimated 1,000 people from Cameroon. Entire villages were burned to the ground. Today, there are over 190,000 internally displaced Cameroonians in the far north region, and about 65,000 refugees from neighboring Nigeria. Previously, we believed that violent extremism or terrorism were Middle Eastern problems, and Boko Haram was a Nigerian problem. We didn't believe any communities in our country will feel so disenfranchised that they will resort or they will decide to join terrorist organizations. We didn't just know, we didn't just understand the danger Boko Haram posed. Over the last 3 years, hundreds of Cameroonian youths, lured by fake promises of recompense and backed by unemployment and poverty, have willingly joined the ranks of Boko Haram. As a result, stigmatizations of Muslims is on the rise. Defense forces carry out arbitrary arrests because it has become difficult to differentiate between law-abiding citizens and terrorists. But just as young people play active roles in violent extremism, so are they key to countering it. As an individual, I train community youth leaders from all 10 regions of my country, and this training is based on building resistance to extremist narratives, as well as debunking myths and stereotypes. An example of my work is the Repair series by the New Center organization in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth in my country. Repair, meaning rebuilding peace through actions with inclusive reach, is a 2-tier program which targets educated youth. Through the first part of this program, I paired different participants together, Muslim, Christian, Anglophone, Francophone, Northerners, Southerners, to prove that there is unity, and there can be unity and understanding in diversity. The training is centered on communication in conflict handling styles, preventing and countering violent extremism. And these young people are able to understand and learn that there are alternatives to violence. Youth leaders are expected to carry out PIO exercises, meaning passing it on, where each of these participants I train are expected to train at least 35 young people when they return to their regions. The objective is to create a chain of learning, sensitization, and education. The good news is, after the first semester, 94% of the participants I trained carried out PIOs in their own communities, some of them having 50 to 150 participants. In a period of 3 months, over 1,500 young people were reached in all 10 regions of my country. Before the program, Christian youth were afraid of their Muslim counterparts, and wearing a hijab or wearing flowing robes was automatically associated to Boko Haram or a suicide bomber. But now, Christian youth are cognizant of the fact that being a Muslim is definitely not synonymous to Boko Haram or terrorism. In the same way, before the training, Muslim youth accused the Christian South of marginalization and discrimination. They felt that their voices were being ignored, and these circumstances were pushing them to turn to violence as an alternative. I also started the Mind Revolution program in my community with 2 of my classmates, where I tried to reach vulnerable young people. And although the first workshop attracted only 37 young people, the word did spread, and over 100 people came in for the second workshop. And another strategy I use is social media, because I believe just as social media can be used to radicalize young people, it can also be used to defeat violent extremism. I fight back through strategic communication, counter-narratives, and restructuring thought away from destructive tendencies towards peaceful strategies. On average, the reports I write on my website reach 3,000 to 5,000 people. We need to recognize that we are dealing with a generation that feels deeply scarred and targeted by destructive propaganda. So right now, I'm giving you a hashtag. We need to engage, educate, and repair. And it begins with me, it begins with you, what I can do, and then what we can do together. Thank you.